of mothers who pray for their children. Welcome to the Biblical Formation Women from the Bible. Today we will study about Hannah. In these studies we are led by this book, To Be a Woman in the Light of the Bible, by Angela Abdo. Hannah, mother of the prophet Samuel. Hannah's story is found in the Old Testament, mentioned in the book of 1 Samuel. Hannah was one of the two wives of Elkanah, a man from the mountains of Ephraim. Hannah had no children, but the other wife had children. In a generation where sterility was a sign of curse, Hannah carried in her body and her soul the wound of prejudice and rejection by society, as well as the provocations of her rival, who pursued her day and night with harsh words, which darkened Hannah's soul in suffering and pain. Elkanah, wishing to comfort Hannah, used to tell her how much he loved her. She was happy with that expression of his love. However, those words had given her also reason for reflection, making Hannah think he had given up hope of having a son with her. Everything changed the day Hannah arose from her prostration and decided to pray to the Lord with all her heart. Soon, something special happened. Trust in the power and mercy of God became reality. Hannah's perseverance in prayer must be appreciated and followed by anyone who wants to walk in the conversion road. Through an unshakable faith, perseverance, and determination that come from God, there is no force on this earth that can paralyze someone who is facing difficulties and enemies. The victory in Hannah's life is established when she decides not to give up, not to die, not to be another poor thing wounded by fate. Her focus on God's mercy and her persistence brought her victory. It is praying in the presence of God desperately that she receives the prophetic word of victory. Hannah throws herself at the Lord's feet and pours out her soul, exposing her bitterness. Her prayer comes from the depths of her heart, crying out to the only one who could help her in profusion of tears and in a great clamor, which the priest of the temple thought she was drunk. Hannah also made a promise to God. If the child were male, she would offer him to the Lord for life. When Hannah leaves the temple, her face is no longer sad. So we must also be likewise when we put ourselves in the hands of the Father, understanding that God hears our prayers and our cry. That same night, God heard Hannah's crying. Soon she conceived, and in due course she gave birth to a son and named him Samuel. Hannah did not take long to fulfill her promise. Therefore, the testimony must always be expressed. She may not have lived to see it, but history shows that Samuel became a great priest and prophet, and it all started with the courageous attitude of a housewife, a mother. Hannah did not close herself in her own pain. How have we reacted towards suffering, pain, trials, and tribulations in our life? Despite all the negative answers she had, Hannah kept faithful. Where and in whom have we been seeking our strength and confidence? Hannah's heart was devoid from selfishness. Have we offered to God the best we are and have? Let's learn about Hannah's virtues we mothers of the movement must cultivate. Worship and praise. Hannah's worship places God as the center and the Lord of all things. The praise demonstrates a very intense intimacy with God. Influencer for many generations. Hannah influences God-fearing generations. King David recites in Psalm 113 part of Hannah's praise. Mary, Mother of Jesus, declaims the Magnificat as part of the praise and worship she learned from Hannah, in the example of a woman dedicated to God. Model of a loving mother. She breastfed Samuel, giving him love and affection, knowing that she would take him to be raised in the temple, in total dependence on God. Samuel was born from her womb, was loved by her to the extreme, and belonged to God and would live for him. From the Lord I asked, for the Lord I will return. Hannah's life is inspiring and has precious lessons for our own life. That's why we shouldn't give up on the dreams that glorify God. We should always wait and hope for His providence. I would like to conclude with a quote from Saint Pope John Paul II. At that time, blessed John Paul II, in his letter to women, when he gives thanks to them, and which is worth remembering. Thank you, woman wife, who irrevocably unite your destiny with a man's in a relationship of reciprocal gift at the service of communion and life. Thank you, woman mother, who becomes the womb of the human being, who becomes the smile of God through the creature that is giving birth, who becomes a guide in his first steps, support for his growth, a point of reference throughout his life. Thank you, woman, for the simple fact of being woman, with the perception that is of your femininity. You enrich the understanding to the full truth of human relationships. Let us remember that God's power is infinite and that mothers need to use their spiritual authority for the benefit of their children. Thank you for studying with me. See you at the next formation. God bless us. Our Lady of La Salette, Mother of Reconciliation, pray for us.